Hey, love, before we go any further, just know this. I'm not here to be someone you follow, and I'm not here to teach you how to live your life. I'm walking my path, and I'm speaking it out loud as I go. And your path is going to look different, as it should. Sometimes, when something real is spoken, it cuts through the noise just enough for you to hear yourself again. So if something in this hits, or lands, or stirs something in you, I invite you to pause there. Not because I said it, but because you felt it. You don't need to rush to change anything. You don't need to turn this into a plan. Just don't ignore yourself, because your life isn't built by following someone else's voice. It's built by trusting your own. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and stay rooted in yourself while you listen. This is just a conversation. Happy day, friends. You know, I want to speak about something today that's been so loud in my life. And I trust that this message will land however it needs to land. But a big part of it, a big part of why I'm making this video is to also claim it for myself. To remind myself that my truth is exactly what I say it is, no matter how that lands for other people. You see, I no longer believe in sacrificing for love or compromising for love, because I believe to compromise in a lot of ways is compromising your soul. Do I think that there are times that we may do so? Yeah. But I also would argue that if you're choosing that, it's not a compromise because you're still making a choice. And so, what I mean by that is in my own life, I'm starting to realize that when I am frustrated by something, it is because I am either living in the past that I'm remembering, some emotion I have attached to the thing, or some I've decided this event or this experience sucks for whatever reason. So I'm either living in that, or I am living in the fears of the what ifs. I'm not actually in the present moment. And I am choosing to live this life in the present as much as I can. As much as I can pull myself back to the present moment, that is where I'm trying to stay, because that's where true life is. Living from what we're responding to, not overthinking everything that causes extreme anxiety. That's my own experience. Or worrying about how I'm showing up and how other people are perceiving me, which I am now realizing, thanks to my life, that I can show up one way for one person and it be an awful experience for that person, and they can hate me and be so angry at me for how I am showing up. And then I can show up in the exact same way for someone else and they think it is the greatest blessing in their entire life. And it is blowing my mind, because we're told, like, you can't care about what other people think about you. But at the same time, that is not how we're raised as kids. Like, to be, I did another video talking about why I pulled my daughter from public school because of a lot of these things. And I don't know if I'll post it or not, but we'll see. But that's the reality, is we are not teaching kids that it is okay to not be liked, because we are teaching them to conform. We are teaching them to be the yes guy, to do things even if they don't want to, at the expense of their bodies. And then we wonder why we have all these adults who are engaging in that same way. They're bitter, they're miserable, they're frustrated, and they hate life. Well, they weren't taught to love it, they were taught to hate it. They were taught to do things even if they didn't enjoy it. And it's like, okay, well, where's the balance there? Because I'm now seeing, like, that's not how I wanna live my life. That does not feel good to my body. That's not the life that I wanna hand to my kids. But there are still things that I feel like are non-negotiables for me. Like, I'm going to make sure my kids are fed. Like, I'm going to make sure people have, like, they have shelter, that they have what they need. Like, I choose my children. And that's when I started realizing, like, well, that's the difference. I'm choosing it. So, like, if I'm sitting in the pressure of, like, I have to pay these bills, I have to feed these children, I have to do this, I have to do that, like, that doesn't feel good in the body. And that was taught from the world around me, because a majority of adults are walking around going, "Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I gotta go to work, I gotta pay the bills," like, the drudgery that is all around us. Like, that's what our kids become. They lose their love of life. And I was like, okay, so when I'm stepping into these things, like, I'm going to use something simple. When I do dishes now, I hate dishes. I have hated dishes my entire life. But do I really hate dishes? Or is it because I heard someone else say they hated dishes? So I was like, oh, dishes suck. Like, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But dishes are a part of life. It is not something that can be a negotiable, like, unless I wanna go buy paper plates and paper everything, but I don't wanna spend money on those things, and I don't wanna eat off plastic. Like, I wanna use my plates. I want to use the things that I want to use, which means I'm gonna need to do dishes. So I could choose not to, but I'm going to choose to do them. So if I'm choosing to do it, can't I also choose to enjoy it? Like, instead of be miserable in it? Yes, we can. And that's what I'm trying to show my kids. But there are still certain areas that just are not comfortable for me, that I am realizing my body does not feel safe in, that I dim myself in order to fit. And the more that I choose me, the more that I choose to focus on, we don't sacrifice for love. We love unconditionally. And I hold myself to that standard, and I show my children that this is what I believe in. And that is how I engage with the world around me. The louder other spaces that I have dimmed in, that I haven't shown up as my best self, that I have made myself small in order to make other people comfortable, those spaces are getting loud because I can no longer choose to step inside them right now because my body literally aches, but also because I choose my kids first and I choose my own home first. And that, I feel like, is a deeper message that I'm seeing all around me, because I can see how in relationships we have been taught that you have to drop everything to be there for your significant other, for your parents, for your siblings, for all these people you care about, all your friends, everybody in your life. Like, if somebody is struggling, you better drop everything and be there. And, like, I still believe in that. But what I'm realizing is there comes a point then where there ends up being bitterness or resentment because one person ends up being the one that drops everything and other people don't ever show up for them because they're the ones that always show up for everybody else. And that got really loud because I was like, I have never needed people to do things for me. I've always been, I'm going to figure it out. When I've had to ask for help, it's been really hard for me. And when people do show up, which they have in the past year, I have had so much unconditional love and support that it has just blown my mind how people show up for me that I haven't experienced before. And they showed up because I started treating myself in that way. Because I started letting myself sit at the same table as everybody else. I started letting people see me in all my fullness. And then they supported. But the reality that I'm seeing is I don't expect it. The expectation is what breeds the bitterness and the resentment. The expectation that because I love you, you better show up for me. And if you don't, that means like you're this bad person or you need to apologize because how dare you not show up for me? And like, no, because if I'm burning and drowning and so are you, what then? Like, we have to then have a war with each other because one of us has to be drowning more, so the other one needs to just settle in, buckle up. Like, no, we need to have personal accountability of my life is my responsibility and I can handle everything that comes. Now, that doesn't mean I don't need support, but support doesn't mean people jumping in and fixing it. It means just being a part of life with me. But the reality is I don't need it. And when you don't need something, you don't expect other people to fill that void for you. And it's like, holy shit, this is massive because that's what I see in relationships. That's what I did with Andrew. It's what society's taught is because you're my person, because you're my family, because you are my people, you have to burn if I'm burning. And then if I burn because you're burning, then when I'm burning, you better burn too. And like it never, and the cycle never ends. And in reality, then what happens when one person's life is burning? Like right now, this month, I have had so many things happen. In the past year, we have walked through so many lessons. There's been moments when we weren't sure how we were going to put food on the table, but we did. We leaned into faith, we leaned into trust, and we always knew that it was going to work out. And it always did. We handled it. But in order to handle it, we had to let go of some of the other things that we were doing because we didn't have the space to do them for other people. And this last month got loud again. And I was faced with the fact that I was drowning. And I don't share that to like put that on anybody else because this is for me. Like I'm sharing this on this channel as awareness and open vulnerability of the fact that I have hardship, but not hardship in the sense that I'm bitter or I'm miserable or angry about life. Like, I use my hardship to fuel me. I always use everything in my life for me. So I sit in that and I don't share it with people because I'm just handling business, living life. So I don't realize how impactful that could be for other people. And the people that I do meet with every week, that I do work with, like, it is changing their lives for them just seeing me live my own because of that silent permission that we no longer sacrifice for love. We no longer abandon ourselves for our loved ones because that's not love. And it perpetuates this cycle of we're letting people that are comfortable in their ways dictate the health of the entire family. And I refuse to do that with my kids. And I'm not making this a war with anyone else because I don't want to fight with anybody else. I just want to choose my life. And I want to be able to share when I can't do something and the people in my life respect that and not make it about them, especially when there's been no curiosity as to what's been happening in my life because I've always been the one that doesn't share because I've got it. Even when I'm drowning, I've got it because I know on the other side, I'm going to get some insight. I'm going to use it for me and I'm going to have a breakthrough and life will be right as rain again. And you see, when you're the one that always has it together, you've then taught everyone that you're always the one that has it together. So if you don't show up for them, then clearly you just don't want to and you don't love them anymore. When that couldn't be further from the truth. The worst part is I love so damn deeply that for 38 years of my life, I have abandoned myself for the people around me. And it's been so subtle. Like, nobody's asked me to do that. It's just I care so deeply that when somebody needs something, of course I'm going to help. But after 38 years of being a wife and a mother and a sister and a daughter and a friend, you get to a point where you realize you're fucking exhausted because you're living everyone else's lives and you have no idea what you want in your own. And that's my reality. Is I understood all that, but I still didn't feel safe choosing myself because choosing myself was going to piss off the people I love the most. Because that's what they've been taught to expect. And that's hard. It is a hard thing to step into when you have not let yourself choose you. And when you care so fucking deeply because you're not trying to be unkind. You're just also trying to include yourself in that kindness. And this month's been so loud in that drowning. And I believe now, getting on the other side of it, that that's exactly why it happened. To show me in all the areas that I still was not claiming my fullest self because it was easier to just be small. And it made me face the fact that I can choose myself and it not equal that I don't care about people. I can still love people deeply and unconditionally while saying I don't have space for certain things right now because I need to choose me and I need to choose my children and my home because I don't expect anyone else to jump in and save me. I have this shit handled my damn self. Now, I don't say that in the sense of like, I don't ask for help, because I do. I just don't expect a yes from people. If someone tells me they don't have space, I honor that and respect it and don't make it a war against them. And I just go pivot to somebody else. Or most of the time, I just figure it the fuck out. But I'm aware not everyone does that, and that's okay. But I don't expect people to come into my home and fix my shit for me. And yet, that's the standard a lot of people are holding at me. And it's like, well, how can we get this truly driven, capable human who has handled all this stuff that life has thrown at her? And, she's handling everyone else's fires and all these fires and like doing all this over here. And she's handling life. Like, how do we get her to finally see that enough is enough and this is too much? Oh, I know. I make her life blow up. I make her life so loud that she does not have the space to choose anything else, because to choose people outside of her home means to abandon the ones that she is responsible for. And she ain't gonna fucking do that. And life would be right. Because my kids come first. Now, I'm not perfect in that either. Because I am also learning right alongside them on life. And that's why we did away with hierarchies in our home. Because I don't claim to know more than them, and half the time they know more than I do. Because they are so less conditioned than I am. They've taught me more about life than anything else outside of me has. Like they are just, I'm so blessed to have these kiddos, to get to be a support in their life, that I get to call myself their mom. And so I share this for other moms out there and other humans, whether you identify as a mom or not, whether you have your own biological kids or not, doesn't matter. If you have taken care of people outside of you, you know what I'm talking about. If you have been the one who always had your shit together and everyone came to, and life is getting loud right now because it's asking you to choose yourself, just know that you're not alone. And choosing yourself does not mean you don't love deeply. It just means that you get to love yourself deeply too. So that's what I leave you with today, as this reminder, as I remind myself that I get to make choices for my life and it not mean that I'm a terrible human just because someone else isn't happy with them. So I send you so much love and so much joy, and claim this life and make it your own. It is such a gift to be alive. Much love. Until next time. If something in this stayed with you, if it shifted something or made you see your life a little clearer, hold on to that. Not tightly or forcefully, just enough to acknowledge that something in you responded. You don't need to prove anything from here. You don't need to rush into any change. Just stay connected to what you felt, because that's how your path unfolds. not by following someone else's way, but by recognizing your own way, moment by moment. I'm walking mine, you're walking yours, and sometimes our paths meet here. So take what's yours and let the rest fall away. Come back to yourself. Everything rearranges from there.
Flow like rivers, wild and free. Dive into oceans that call to thee. Breathe in the wind, let it carry your name. Unapologetic living is your claim. Let the waves whisper your story bold, their rhythm eternal, their wisdom old. Echoes of dreams in the sea foam's dance. Find your truth, take the chance. The tide is rising, beckoning your soul. Crash through the doubts, make yourself whole. The world is vast and the water's deep, where courage wakes and fear's asleep. In every droplet you're alive again. With every ripple a new world begins. No need to hold back, embrace the stream. Unapologetic living, your lasting theme. Let the waves whisper your story bold, their rhythm eternal, their wisdom old. Echoes of dreams in the sea foam's dance. Find your truth, take the chance. As we drift in life's great current, we find the freedom to be both flowing and kind. This is the